Yeah, G3YPZ, G3YPZ. Kilo 6 gold. Yeah, excellent. You 5 and 9. 5 and 9. No problems whatsoever. And I was so pleased when I heard you there. I literally came into the shack. I just I've been talking to my friend that I write the antennas column with on before that time, and I just realised that the time had gone a lot quicker than I thought. Anyway, I hope I'm coming through okay. G3YPZ VK6VZ. Yeah, G3YPZ. It's yeah, very good, John. And well, you're actually, as far as the F meter is concerned, you're actually 5 by 9. I've got we've got all the preamps in, and I think my noise level says it's something like 5 and 6 to 7. But you were hitting F9, John, on that transmission. Yeah, very good on days. Well, we'll see how it goes. But this time of year, long pass on 20 metres, I can hear the signals very strongly. And it's this morning on SSB, and I know Dave's got some good aerials, but some of the guys in, sort of W2, like New Jersey, New York, and down into Florida, they were about 20 over 9. So I think working AM on 20 was quite easy, but it's not so easy on 10. The problem seems to be that with 10 that it's got to really open up, and it's got to be pretty close to the equinox, and then I think we can have good signals. But my general experience on 10 metres has been that it's easy to get as far from the west coast as the Rockies. But when it comes to getting over the Rockies on 10 metres, all of a sudden things get much harder. And I can hear the VK2s and 3s working East Coast USA pretty easily. But they've got an advantage of about 3 plus S points over us. G3YPZ VK6VZ.
Yep.
Yeah, G3YPZ VK6VZ. Yeah, super, John, and your signal's holding up very well. Very well indeed. And yeah, very good on the first of all, your observations about 10 metres long path. Yeah, we can get it, John, but it's very rare. And when the long path propagation happens, it's usually kind of just after the short path here has closed. I know I've heard it at March time, around March time, in these new contests. And after we start to lose the G's on the short path, if you put on your beams the long path, and they do the same, you can sometimes work them. But it's, for us, 20 metres really is, we don't go looking for long path QSO with Europe on any band about 20 metres. But from, of course, VK4-3 are much closer to the, kind of furthest point away from you. So they often will get those, they'll never get as good short path openings as us usually, but they will get long path and short path, which is their kind of compensation. Yeah, in regards to yesterday, I think two things happened. Is that the path is there, probably into on 10 metres, into the UK from about 0830 Zulu, right from the equinox that's coming up to the next one. But there's also a grey line enhancement as well. And the two openings are really almost distinct. Kind of before I avoided sunset a little bit because I wasn't sure what the enhancement would be there. And I knew 0830 to 0930 Zulu path was there at the time. Now, in the past, I learned that it was possible to work pairs of VK6 at the top of the solar cycle through a year. And I only knew this because a friend of mine who's now a silent Q, he was G3YPZ Yankee, G3DQY, and he used to work at VK6 renders that his called Peter. So I can't think of Peter's call now, but Peter would work John and some other stations in the Eastbourne area, right the year round, and that could not be done from the East Coast. So 10 metres is our weird sweet spot, and it's probably there on 12 metres, but I don't actually have an antenna for 12. I've sort of decided these days, John, sort of just to keep to the traditional HF band, with the exception of 40 metres, which I can sort of tune my big 160 metre shape channel from. So yeah, the key is there's usually an around 30 to 0930 Google path, and then after that, particularly as the days get longer here, you'll see that sunrise enhancement path as well. Or sorry, sunset enhancement. G3YPZ, VK6VZ, VK6VZ. Yeah, it's good, John. And your signal's hitting the S9, and a similar thing here. I'd say that you're dropping, down to about the next 6 at times. But there's that kind of nice rolling kind of QSO that we get on 10 when things are really good, where you just kind of gently circling between 2006 and 7 and S9. No, this is the first time for me, and when I put on a feeder on and I heard you, I was actually feeling long past USA, but I could still hear you, and unfortunately I probably would have heard the German station as well, but I had to turn the beam through about 240 degrees. Pretty much going on that long path now. Yeah, very good on the comments about Peter. And just, I think you had that correct. He was a XG from the Eastbourne area, and my friend John G3DQY, who was also my father's best friend. My father was G3YPZ, but John and my dad used to go for weeks together, and there was another guy as well who I think emigrated to Spain, but John sort of taught my dad and took his radio, kind of theory, and they were both ex-RAF guys who were, kind of on the command in, our son was right at the end of World War II, but my dad was originally on the command, but got transferred to Transport Command. He probably saved his life, so there we go. Anyway, yeah, Peter, there's this great thing that after Peter died, his widow, Hazel, used to listen to my father and I and G3YPZ having a skid on 20 metres. So there was a whole load of guys that used to come on from Hawthorne, and I used to talk to and Hazel, Peter's widow, was listen on Peter's old transceiver. I think it might have been an ST101 or something like that. So I became friendly with Hazel. My wife, Deb, also knew Hazel. Yeah, so going back, I was talking to John. Anyway, I'll put it over to you again. You're right. I think from memory, the conditions tend to peak around 9 time. So I think we're probably beginning to fall away a bit now, John. G3YPZ, VK6VZ. VK6VZ. Yeah, super, John. All copied, and the band's holding up pretty well. Back in the day, when I lived in London, I used to talk to my friend John, VK6 Whiskey Charlie, and John was probably the best signal out of Western Australia on 20 metres at the time. But I remember usually I could have worked on pretty much until about 9:30 but I think we're doing very well. And the good thing is, whatever's happening, John, your quad's working pretty well, I reckon. So, yeah, it could well be. I think changing the speckles is the key there and see if it makes any difference. But I think the other thing is, again, as we both know, it's sorting out the phasing, and if the SWR is a bit high, it doesn't really matter as long as you've got some kind of matching unit that makes it look reasonable to your transceiver. And that's the great thing, I think, about modern transceivers with their built-in OPUs. They're very good on G8 CPs, and he sounds very determined fellow, very knowledgeable, so I'm sure that that will work out okay. Yeah, very fine on Jeff, VK6VZ, and Jeff and I were friends. We were friends. Jeff I met through FOC. He was an FOC operator. But also my friend VK6DIX, VK6AIX, who was G4DIX. I met my wife through him, but also his wife nursed Jeff. Jeff got quite sick at one point, and my friend's wife is Irish, and a big character, and I think she kept Jeff cheerful by teasing him. But yeah, I think Peter was VK6AI, I think that's right. But I never worked Peter. Peter was, I think he was a silent key just not long after I came to Western Australia. But I ended up, really on 20 metres, working, my father and Peter's friends who still lived in Eastbourne. But as you say, 10 metres was Peter's passion. 10 metres was definitely his passion, John. Okay, well, I'll try and do a recording in the next few days. The shack's in a bit of a mess as well, and I haven't really sort of sorted myself out mentally today. But I think we might try and do a recording on 20 metres as well, John, because the signals are so good. All right, well, I better go. I've got a couple of jobs to do, but it's amazing that we made the contact. And just looking at the time, just maybe we'll have a quick kind of propagation check on 10 metres and later, and then call it a day. So I'll say 73s for now. It's been absolutely fabulous, and you are my first ever AM contact on 20 metres. So I think VK6VZ is all about stars. G3YPZ, VK6VZ, G3YPZ, Victor Kilo 66 Yeah, lovely John, and solid copy, and again, I think it was a pretty consistent. You're still just over the 9, and then kind of the QSO, I have it sort of fairly quick because the S meter isn't quick enough to follow it, but it's just sort of nice rolling sort of signal. And I think the last no again on 20 metres anyway, but I kind of wish I'd done something back then, but I was also more interested in 160 metres at that point. One problem I did find this morning is there's some fairly ancient American amateurs who like to chat on sideband around 14330. So if you have talked to Dick, one of the issues that I found was I needed to go like about 5 kilohertz up, I think, on 14335. But another morning I might have to go down 5 kilohertz. But it's not there's a little bit going on, John, at that time. But as you say, when the band's open to Europe, this part of the band is relatively empty. And the reason I know that is my father used to talk to each other before he became a silent G up on 14330 SSC. And pretty much, we had this in this part of the band to ourselves in general. Okay, you take care. See you in about 40 minutes. G3YPZ,
G3YPZ, cheers.
Yeah, Roger. Very much enjoyed this, John. And I think, it's an antidote to all those people who think that they need FT8. If I can do AM on 20 metres with 5 9-point signals, I just, I roll my eyes. Maybe it's just me being an old fuddy-duddy. But it's like, why the heck would anybody use FT8? Well, we can have so much fun using all those types of transmission. VK6 is